So now with the volatility framework, you can actually analyze the memory. And let's go to the volatility website once. Volatility framework. And
How is the autopsy, Pragyan? Like, is mortality better or autopsy?
no, what I think that autopsy is for disk forensics. It's not for memory forensics. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, memory is performed. So there are two major tools that you can use for memory forensics. One is the volatility, which is the like kind of a gold standard of the tool, and you can like visit the volatility in the GitHub and just download the code from there. Okay. And the other way is also that this also has the exe version. So you can like directly download that in Windows volatility.exe and kind of just start the uh, forensics of the RAM memory. Okay, so you can see that it has the Windows standalone executor. You don't have to download the code and all. Okay, so that this will be very handy. Like this, I am also using that in one of the scenario where in the RAM memory thing, in the RAM memory tool, where like suppose the scenario was like I have to perform the RAM memory forensics of a system, and the system is like in London, and the RAM size is suppose 64 GB, or like suppose it's a server, the RAM is suppose 128 GB. I can't like just wait for 5 days to let's download the RAM memory to my lab and perform the forensics. So what I did was like I actually bundled the RAM capture tool, the the volatility memory forensics tool. And what it does is like first the once you run that software, it will capture the RAM in the same system. It will perform the forensics over there itself, and then it will generate the artifacts, which is just mostly around 50 kb, and you just quickly save it in your bring it in your lab and make a report out of that. Okay, so that's where this window executable will be very important to kind of, it will help you in those scenarios. Okay, and now so let's see now volatility. And also like there they have a lot of competitions happening every year. Okay, even I have participated in one of the competition, and my tool was actually selected in their final review. Okay, so maybe I will share that link later, their report on that. Okay, so now let's go to the volatility framework tool. And what you need to do is like you need to capture the memory image and then perform the forensics on that. But today what I have done is that actually I have executed this malware known as unknown.exe. Okay, and once that was executed, the RAM memory was captured from that system, which is like around 510 MB. So what I will do is I will share this. If you want to perform the practical, I will share this malware, okay, only, which you can just execute on the lab system and get the RAM memory and then perform the forensics. So I won't be needing to sharing this 510 MB of file. You just need this malware, and it will create the same kind of artifacts which are present in this 510 MB of memory image. Okay, so let's see like how volatility can help us. So now we have the RAM image of the suspicious process, the unknown dot image img format. Okay, and now let's see that how we will do that. So today we will be like working on the Remnex VM. So volatility is already installed in this. So if I just do volatility and let's just do help, I think, yeah. So just do help and let's pipe it with more. Okay, options help. Okay, now it's telling me, see, it is telling me what all things you can get it from here. So you can get a lot of artifacts on the RAM memory, like the amcas folder, amcas artifacts you can get. So if you do a forensics course, so here you will get to know that amcas actually note downs like what all executables were like kind of executing on your system. You can get to know the clipboard, like what all things are kind of content is there in the control C. When you do the control C, what all commands are executed from the command prompt, you can get from the command line plugin, command scan plugin. You can get connections, like what all connections were made from that system. The network connections you can get by running this plugin connections. The con scan will also help you in getting that. Then there are something like DLL list, which will give you like, okay, what all processes are running and what are the DLLs they are kind of using internally. Okay, what all drivers are there, what all certificates are there. Then it will also give a lot of other things like the
Voice is breaking.
yeah. Please pardon, Shema, I didn't got that.
Your voice is breaking. Forget.
Okay, okay.
Could you repeat what you just said?
Yeah. Is it somewhat better now? Somewhat better now?
Yeah, it's slightly better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So thing is like Volatility comes with predefined plugins, okay, like which we are seeing over here, which you can run and get lot of different kinds of artifacts from the RAM memory. Okay, like the AMCAS will actually, if you run this plugin on the RAM memory image, it will actually give you the AMCAS artifacts. And AMCAS artifacts are mainly the what all executables are running in your system. Okay, then it will like there are a lot of other plugins like ConScan plugin, the connections plugin, which will give you like what all connections, network connections are made from the system. Then the DLL list, which will give you all the DLL list which are like getting imported by any executable. Then you can even get the event logs. Okay, you can even get the SID value of any account, user account. You can get the handles, and then let's see, a lot of other things are there, a lot of other interesting stuff. Hive scan.
So Pragyan, if we run a malware like in our virtual box only, and after that, after the execution of the malware, if we run volatility, so we can pretty much get a lot of details about the dynamic behavior of the malware from this
Yes,
also.
actually everything. Like even like if the content of the malware was encrypted, you can get that all thing in decrypted format from the Ramnex. So there is nothing more where malware can hide. It has to kind of execute, and all the details you can get about a malware from the RAM memory. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And the other thing is like there are, you can see like what happened is like when you run the volatility on an image, you need to specify which profile that image is collected from. Suppose that image was collected from a Windows 7 system, so I need to tell the volatility that that this image is from a Windows 7, and then suppose it is service pack 1 or service pack 2, you need to tell Windows 7 SP1. Okay, and if you don't specify that, it will by default treat that RAM image has been captured from a Windows XP system. For Windows 10, again you have to tell it like it's a window, it's like hyphen Windows 10. Okay, something like that. And now there might be a case where you don't know what's the profile of that image. So what you can do is like there's a plugin called as KDBG scan, which you are seeing right now over here. Okay, and there are like image info command. Okay, if you run this plugin on the image, so volatility will actually try to guess the profile image for that profile for that image, and it will tell you, okay, this image might be related to Windows 7, this might be related to Windows 10, and you can get that from there also. Okay, so now there are a lot of other plugins like Malfind. Yes, please, Saidip. Yeah.
Again, let us say we haven't found anything malicious and we know something is suspicious from one particular machine. And I do remember that by doing memory forensics, you have found like recent malware. Am I correct again?
uh, can you please pardon, Saidip, I didn't got the question.
Okay. So let us say we haven't found the malware as of now, and still we feel that one particular system is suspicious. It is
Okay.
looking suspicious, and its behavior is little suspicious. How can we find out all that information from memory forensics?
Yeah. So you, yeah,
Malware.
yeah, you can just capture the RAM memory, either the Haverfield or either the RAM capture using the RAM capture tool, and just put that parse that RAM memory using the volatility, and it will like give you all the artifacts from there. Okay, so suppose you want you ran the task manager. Okay, and
Okay.
you didn't see any suspicious process running in the system. Okay,
Okay.
so there might be a scenario that okay, that process is hidden, it is running hidden in a hidden mode, and it is fooling the task manager. So even those,
Even we couldn't find out in Process Hacker as well.
yeah, you can't find that in process hacker, but you can find that using the RAM memory. Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's the so that's the benefit. So now today in this class I will be actually showing you that. Okay. So so these are some of the plugins that you can like. There's a very important plugin called as actually, which is named as Malfind. Okay. So Malfind, what happened is like you might have heard that okay, a process comes in and it injects its malicious process in some other process like explorer.exe or services.exe. Okay. And you don't know what that malware process, what that suspicious code is and like what it does. Okay. And even like suppose you are running, you are knowing that a system is compromised, but you are not, when you're seeing that task list and all, you're not finding any suspicious process, but you are seeing that okay, that your explorer.exe is making a connections to some C2 IP. Okay. So what happened is that in that case, your explorer.exe is actually behaving as a malware. The malware actually injected its code in the explorer.exe and it is running its malicious code on behalf of explorer.exe. So how to know what all codes has been injected by the malware? You can find that using the Malfind plugin. Okay. So there are a lot of other things like PS list, which will give you the process list, PS scan, PS tree, and a lot of other stuff. So let's, as you know that there are like now a lot of plugins, right? So now let's go and check that one by one. Most of them, not all, but some of them, which is like the most important ones. Okay. So now let's start. So first I'll do ls and
Again, one question.
yeah.
So when we say that a process, a malicious process is injecting itself into another process, basically process injection. So what the malware is doing is that it is executing itself in the memory space of another legit process, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And what happened like once you so what happened like when you will see the listing and all, and suppose like once it's injected, it deletes itself, the original code. So you will only see that explore.exe is running, and it will actually fool the analyst that okay, this is a correct process. It is nothing, nothing kind of worrisome, because even the hash of that explore.exe, if you take it, it will be correct one. Even if you see the file path, it will be correct one. But then also it's kind of malicious. Okay. So those things those answers you can only get by performing the memory forensics. It's the last thing where everything will be clear to you. Like malware can't hide after that. Okay. So what we are going to do is we'll be working on this unknown.img file and then seeing like okay, how we can parse that using volatility. So this is the memory image that I have collected. So let's do that. So I will do volatility. Then I have to give -f, which means the file. So I will just do unknown.img. So this is the file name which I want to parse using volatility. And then I have to give the profile, like which profile this image was corrected from. So I guess it was Win7xsp1. Okay, service pack 1. But let's just confirm. Let me confirm that once with our notes. So as I told, the profile you can get it from the image info or KDBG scan. By default, it assume the window XFIL profile. Okay, and yeah, so for here it is actually Windows 7 SP1 x86. Okay, so let's do that. Windows 7 SP1 x86 architecture, and actually you don't need to, now you need to give the plugin name. So you have given the file image path which you want to parse, the profile of that image, and now suppose I want to know what all process are running currently, were running currently when this RAM memory was captured. So I can just do PS list. So this was one of the plugin that I showed that volatility actually supports. So if I just execute that, it will be parsing the memory image and it will actually tell me okay, what all process were running. But now it has not worked really fine. So let's see why. Okay, so the reason why it didn't work was because the profile is something. So there is some problem with the profile. So let's check once my notes again. Volatility 6. pin 7 SP1 X. Okay, why not? Let's clear. Let's remove the stuff. Just do PS list. Oh, okay. So what happened? It was actually from the Windows XP machine. Okay, this image was from Windows XP machine. So that's why like Windows 7 profile was not working. And you see that from the RAM memory image, that volatility has actually parsed the RAM memory, and with the plugin name that was PS list, which I got from the volatility doing the -h command, it can actually give me the lot of process that were running at that moment of time when that process was running. So I can see the process name. Okay, I can see the parent ID. I can see the PID value, the ID value of that process. I can see the parent ID of that process, and maybe I can also do a mapping out of that. Like suppose click of that exe, you can see that it is having the PID value of 1870, but the parent ID is 1440. So now I need to know, okay, I now know the parent ID, but what is the parent process name? So I will see that this 1440 is actually allocated to explore.exe. So now I can tell that, okay, cliff of.exe was the parent of that is actually explore.exe. Okay, so this is how you this the PS list will be helpful. It will actually give you the list of process that are actually running, and this will actually match with the result that you will get from the process hacker or from the process or from the task manager. Now a question might arise, what about the hidden process? So actually from with the PS list plugin, you can't know about the hidden process. You will just get to know about the overall process. Okay, and you can even like actually save that in a text file, like suppose PS list dot txt, and the output will be saved in a text file, and you can just do suppose cat PS list, and I can see them, and you can save that in a text file for any further analysis. Okay, so any questions for the PS list?
No, Pragya.
So I hope this is interesting, right?
Yep.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, great. Okay, so now let's see something more useful. What if the malware was actually running in hidden mode? So we are not seeing that. So this image is actually extracted from a malware which was actually running in hidden mode in the RAM memory, and it was actually disturbing the linked list that I showed you, the e-process list, and used to hide itself. So how to know that, okay, if there's a hidden process? So what we will do is we'll actually run the, just 1 minute, it's PS scan. The another plugin called PS scan, but there is something better than that. So let's first run the PS scan. Scan plugin, and then run it. So this thing will take time, and now what will happen is like you can see that PS scan has given you the list, and why not just come see that with the PS list that I have saved? And is there any new process that you see over here? Any guesses?
ALG.
ALG.exe.
ALG.exe, and
Log on.
okay,
No,
no, it is there. It is there actually. I think so. Okay, it's very difficult actually. Yeah, ALG is there. Yeah, there is something WinVNC. Okay, it's in PS list. Okay, just let me scroll back again, or maybe I will just save that this output in a first in a text file, PS scan.txt, and let's now go to the folder, the desktop, and this is the PS list, and this is the PS scan. Let's keep it like this. It's very difficult to kind of, okay, it's very difficult to kind of
I think
paste.
you can reduce the size of the screen so that
Okay,
it will be visible.
okay, okay, okay. So anyways, let's maybe from here itself we can see. So there are almost same process. So let's see my notes once, because it's very difficult to compare the thing. So comparing two process listing. Okay. Okay, in the PS scan, actually there is something called as WMI TCDC. So let's see that. Okay. Oh yeah, in the PS scan, this is the process WMI TCDC. Okay, and you will see that that process is actually not existing in the PS list. Okay, got it? It will, yeah, it is not actually there in the PS list. So actually this is the hidden process that is actually running. So WMI, this one, this is the hidden process that is running in the system, and which was so the malware is actually fooling your task manager, your process hacker, that there is nothing running, but actually the malware is actually running inside the RAM memory. And you can see the parent ID, the PID, which is 560, and the parent process name, the parent PID is 460. Okay, but do you see the 460 over here? I don't see that. No. So what happened, what might be the case is that unknown.exe actually ran with PID value 460. It executed the WMI tcdc.exe in the RAM memory, and then it exited. Okay, that's why we are not seeing the parent process over here, and we are only seeing the hidden process over here. Okay, so this will be very useful in to get to know, okay, if that system is compromised by any hidden process. And now there is something more to show you. What I will do now, I will run a new plugin called as PXX View, and now let's press enter. So what this does, PS View does, it will actually execute all the plugins for you. It will execute PS List, it will execute PS Scan, it will also execute other plugins, which actually helps you in kind of getting to know what processes are running in the system. And now here I see that WMI TCDC is false for PS List, but it is true for PS Scan.
The other processes.
Got it? So yeah, so now we can tell that this process was totally trying to hide itself from the process hacker or task manager. So I hope this plugin will be really useful for you to quickly know, actually without comparing, you can tell that, okay, this is false, this is true, and this is the hidden process in the memory. Got it? Any questions till now?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, great. Okay, so now let's,
Again, there are some some processes like .exe files, smss.exe, csrss.exe, which are false in last processes like CS, RSS, So what does that mean?
Yeah, so mostly what happened, like CSS RS plugin was run, and they were not able to get maybe the PS list for that. But actually, these are like the but from this one you can tell that these are not malicious, because this system is actually running with PID value 4. Which what happened, like when you do a forensics, you will get to know that, okay, this that there will be only one process running with system name, and the PID value will be mostly 4. Okay, and there is no other process that is running with PID value 4 and with the same name. Okay, so you can tell normally that, okay, this is like kind of a not a malicious process. And to know that in much more detail, what I will suggest you is go to the SANS find evil cheat sheet. Okay, and now go to here. So if you open that file, you will get to know a lot of other details about that. So yeah, so this is the, I will say this is the gold mine for you guys. Okay, and you can tell it from here. Okay, what about the system? Like what are the basic details? Like, okay, who runs that, when it runs, and like how many number of instances will be there. Like there will be only one instance. If you see more than one instance of system, that means one of the system processes is suspicious or malicious. Okay, you can get to know about all the process, like SVC host, LSAS, all the other things. Okay, and these are some of the things actually I use when I do like for the recent lateral movement case. I actually use this event IDs like event logs and all for getting how the movement was done. So this cheat sheets will be always there with you.
Pragya, this is already established document. Am I correct, Pragya?
Yes, yes,
I mean,
yes, yeah,
already published.
yeah, already
So if
public.
we
Yeah.
want similar type of document for any of the malware which we want to analyze, I mean, how can we achieve it? Do we
No,
need to contact SANS people?
no. Thing is like, suppose for this unknown.exe which I'm analyzing, okay. So so as the question came for you that what about the systems and all, okay,
Okay.
this might be also malicious. So what you do is like when you're analyzing this kinds of thing, you go to this cheat sheet and then go
And we
and
need to
like
compare both.
compare and then know, okay, if this is suspicious or not, which you are
Okay.
seeing. And once you know, then you can just rule that one out, that okay, this is not malicious. The only malicious that I am seeing right now is the Vim, that one, the Vim TCTC. Okay, so this will actually help you in performing analysis, knowing what is good and what is bad. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this is how the cheat sheet will be actually helpful for you. And now let's go further to the next plugin. So this is the thing. And now let's run again. So there are two other plugins which I want to share with you, the connections and ConnScan. So let's do that. So let's do clear and do ConnScan. Okay. So now you see when I ran the ConnScan, it is actually telling me. So this is actually suspicious because you see the PID value is 560. Okay, which was actually matching with our hidden process name. So we can tell for now that okay, this is a malicious, this is malicious suspicious entry also. Okay, that means this is the local address of the system from where the RAM memory was captured, and from 1039 port number, it was trying to connect to this IP address on port number 6104. Got it? So this is how it will be helpful for you to know, okay, what are the network connections were made from this system. Okay, what are the suspicious network connections? Okay, and now one question will come to your mind, that what was the software, was the is this the remote address, the C2 IP address, so that the malware was actually trying to connect to the C2 IP address, or like was that malware Vim TCDC was a backdoor and this attacker was actually trying to connect to this system and kind of like get access to that. So there are two scenarios which I'm again repeating, that is there a scenario where the hidden process 560 is actually trying to communicate to this, the first scenario. The second scenario is this process is a backdoor and the other attacker is trying to connect to this local address, the system. So there are two scenarios. So any guesses how you tell that what's the scenario that might be happening over here?
Again.
So yeah, so my question is like, if local address is trying to communicate to remote address, or remote address is trying to communicate to local address. So that's a very kind of a useful thing that you have to analyze always. Okay, this will actually tell you that okay, if there is a backdoor in your system, or if the malware tried to communicate to C2 server. Okay, so how you can do that is actually there is a there's a command called as netstat that you run in Windows, and it will tell you like which process are listening on which ports. Okay, but here we can't run the netstat because it's a RAM memory image. But a substitute of netstat command is actually, it's called,
But Pragyan, we can run netstat on the process ID, right? If we know the process ID.
No, so the thing is like that process is hidden. So when you do the ran netstat, it will actually not show you that hidden process, the first thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it will not show you this connection, the normal commands and all. Okay, so these things we can only get from the RAM memory. And now let's see which plugin is there. So the plugin name is SOCScan. So it's a replacement of netstat, but it works in memory and also kind of like captures the hidden process. So let's run SOCScan. And now you can see that the 1039 over here, the PID value is 560, and it is actually listening. So it is listening on any IP address. 0.00 means it is actually listening on any IP address, and like anyone can connect to it. Okay, any IP address can connect to it. So definitely means that this malware Vim TCDC with PID 560 is actually a backdoor. So you can tell it from here. Okay, and even like socket was this socket? No, it was, I think, sockets. Okay, so let's run sockets. Okay, and now let's see 1039. So yeah, so mostly like if you see that 00, it actually means that this software actually is listening on 1039 port, and it is allowing anyone to connect to this system on this IP with any IP address to this system on port number 1039. So now we can actually tell that the connection has been made from remote IP address to the system, not from the system to the remote IP address. So it will be actually very useful to know whether the connection is outgoing or it is incoming. Okay, got it?
So if it is listening, then in that case it is backdoor again.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you can tell with 100% surety that it's a backdoor. Okay.
What is the other way around? I mean,
Yeah.
there,
So yeah, the other way around, you can tell that maybe like I think with the con scan. So suppose this scenario, this entry was not there. Okay, this entry was not there. So then maybe you can tell, okay, that might not be a backdoor. It's just a connection between two systems using the con scan, and the kind of this system was actually communicating to that IP address. Okay, because what happened, like when you suppose you might have experience with writing the eco server, eco client code for C and Python. So over there, actually the first step is to create a socket. Okay, so in socket you actually do a port binding, the port binding with the local IP address. So this is the artifacts that get created. Okay, that 1039 will listen to any IP address. Whoever can connect, any client can connect to this server. Okay, so from there you can tell, okay, this is a backdoor.
okay, fine.
Okay, fine. So I think now for today, I think it's fine. And so I will tell you guys, let's kind of let's kind of wind up for today. Okay, there are a lot of stuff we discussed, and from next we will see like how to dump that process from the memory, how to do other stuff like analysis of that memory, how to like get the malware executable and then perform any other kind of forensics on that, analysis on that. Okay, so I think that's fine for today, and we can like wind up. Any questions till now?
One last question, Pagan. So as we saw that it's a backdoor, it's another IP is communicating with this IP. So can we find out the IP of the attacker, like which IP this process is listening to?
Yeah.
Like which IP connects to that port?
Yeah. So this, when we ran this, we got to know this remote IP address. So this is the remote IP. This is the IP address of the attacker.
Oh, right. We
Yeah,
saw.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. This
So
was
we
the
can,
command.
yeah. And maybe like
So,
you can, yeah. Please tell.
so for again, for malware analysis, memory forensics is, I mean, is highly important
It's
because
very important. Yeah. Most of the
yeah,
stuff that,
if we are, I mean, if we don't have any clue, I mean, what is going on in a
yeah.
suspicious machine, then we will go
Correct.
for memory forensics.
Yes, correct. And the thing is like once you have got the memory, like the malware, and then all the things that you have learned till now, the static dynamic analysis, you can perform that again on that sample. Okay.
Okay.
So next class we will dump this process and then maybe perform some normal static analysis of that software. Okay. And
Okay.
now there might be a case, okay, you guys might not want some time to use the volatility, or maybe you don't have time, you're running out of time, and you need to have some kind of automated tool which does all the plugins, uh, run all the plugins for you and do a timeline, also make a timeline for you. Okay, so what you can do is I will just share that tool with you. It's actually Redline tool from FireEye. Okay, it's not that powerful as Volatility. Volatility is the most powerful framework right now existing right now in world. But this Redline actually for free, and you can just kind of just upload the RAM memory image. It's free software. You download that, and then kind of just give the RAM memory image, and it will run all the plugins for you, like which it has its own, not the Volatility one. Okay, and then it will like tell you. It will also show you the timeline. Okay, so you can try this in your free time, the Redline tool. It's very handy when you don't have time to kind of run the Volatility framework. Okay, got it. And yeah, and I think also you can kind of create some kind of package using Redline, which you can just tell anyone to execute, and it will capture the RAM memory from their system. So it's a very useful tool. Just like kind of try that in a free time. Okay. So yeah, so I'm stopping for today, and let's continue from next weekend on the PDF analysis. So mostly that one might be the official last class, where I will be like kind of working on the RAM memory image a further bit and the PDF image, and so that will be official ending. And post that, may if there are some other kind of scenarios which I may not have discussed, if I get that again, so it's not, doesn't matter, we can again maybe connect back similarly and just maybe discuss those things again. But officially we will try to like kind of complete that in the next weekend class. Okay.
So, Pragyan, can we keep one class after the last class just to clear the doubts? So
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, no problem.
solve
Yeah,
the
yeah.
doubts.
Yeah, sure. And also like it's not just one class. Anytime later post that, anytime you want to discuss anything, we can again come back on all together on a Zoom call and just maybe discuss something. Even like suppose I need some help, you need some help, we can just share those details and kind of go on that. Yeah,
Sure,
not a
Pragyan.
problem.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, fine, Pragyan. That would be fine because
Yes, yes.
after this sessions, after this classes are completed,
Yeah,
then if we go back and if we have some doubts, so we will club them in one
yeah.
shot and we can have few sessions.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Sure,
Thanks,
sure.
Pragyan.
Yeah, thanks, Yava. Thanks, Sandeep.
okay, Pragyan.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Thank you. Bye bye.